Good evening and welcome to another edition of Inside the Issues. The program is sponsored by the League of Women Voters Richfield. My name is Maureen Scalia. Today's subject is the Hennepin County Library System, which I think I'm safe to say is probably one of the best in the nation. As a very, very long time user and a very heavy user of the Southdale and Augsburg libraries, I am so grateful for what Hennepin County has provided its citizens in terms of library services. Today my guests are, and starting from my immediate left, is Fu Tran, who is a librarian at the Augsburg Library in Richfield on 70th and Nicollet, correct?
Correct, 7100 Nicollet
Avenue
South.
Okay. And then we have Lisa House, who works with youth services at Southdale, and Southdale is on York and 70th.
Yes, that's right.
And then to my far left is Ann Whitson Hicks. She's a senior administrative manager for capital projects.
Yes.
And that's a longer title.
It
I
is,
hope
it
I
is.
remembered it. So it's people who watch this program know I'm always interested in my guests and a bit about their background, who they are. Fu, should we start with you?
Yeah, thank you. First, thank you for having us here today. My name is Phước Thị Minh Tran. It's hard to say, but just call me Pho Tran. It's perfect. I have been with Hennepin County Library, Augsburg Park for 14 years.
14 years.
Yes, I love it. And you know, people always asking me, the kid coming to the library, I said, why don't you want to become a librarian? And I told them, you know, like you know, most people, they first come to the, you know, other country. I remember the first place I came when I first come to a refugee camp was the library.
Oh, sure.
Because I know where I can learn English, I can, you know, do a lot of things.
Yeah.
That's why later on I want to become a librarian to help other people.
Thank you. How
You're very
about
welcome.
you, Lisa?
Well, I grew up on the East Coast, and
Oh, really?
yes, I did.
Not a
And
native Minnesotan.
no, I am not, but I have been here for almost 20 years.
Oh, well, that makes you close to native.
But as a young adult, I worked for the National Geographic Society in D.C. And when you first start working there, you get a tour of their library. And before then, I really didn't know what exactly librarians did. I just imagined the book stamper. But that wasn't it at all. There was so much more. So as soon as I had that tour, I right away applied for library school. Started out at Catholic University, but then my husband's job moved us out here where he's from and transferred to St. Kate's, and it's been wonderful. I love every minute of my job. I've never, ever said to myself when leaving my home, I don't want to go to work today, because it's just so wonderful.
And I'm a fellow alumni of St.
Oh,
Kitts,
wonderful. And my daughter goes there too.
Me as well.
Katie's.
We all Cathy's.
so I didn't know we had that in common. Okay.
So
Ann, how about
not feeling left out or anything because I didn't go to those schools. And not quite as excited as Lisa, but I am as passionate about the library. I've been doing commercial construction project work for over 20 years, but the last 6 years have been with the library and being part of their capital projects and their facility renovations. And there's 41 libraries. There's a lot of work to be done. We're a busy group, and like Lisa, I look forward to going to work every day.
how do you get from high school to working in capital projects and stuff like that? I mean, is there a particular course of study in college, or you just kind of learn as you go, or both?
Yes, there is a definite path if you want to get into construction administration and project management. I didn't choose that route. I took a different route, business administration, in marketing and what have you, but I ended up finding myself in the financial services section of private industry, and before you know it, I was in purchasing, then I was in facilities and into construction projects, so kind of came around it that way.
The reason it's so fascinating. I mean, there are many paths to get to,
There are.
an outcome. Because at the U, I ended up working a lot with construction of new building and remodeling of buildings at the U. And
A lot of that going on
I
at the
learned,
U.
learned some of the things you probably know, starting with a biology major of all things. But yeah, it's good to know for
Yeah.
young people to know that just because they get a major out of college doesn't mean that's what you're
That's right.
going to do for the rest of your life.
I-
It may
yeah,
be,
but I think if you find that you're pretty excited about something, you get passionate about something, that's probably a really good direction to head.
anyway.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to start talking about the library specifically, but I came across on your wonderful website, by the way, I think your mission and vision statement is worth reading because it's so beautiful, if I may say. Our mission is to nourish minds, transform lives, and build community together. I mean, what a wonderful goal. And your vision is you envision a Hennepin County where library services ensure every person has the opportunity and resources to read, graduate, engage, work, and learn. And that learning isn't just as a baby and baby story time, but really as a senior learning to use a computer. It really encompasses the whole life of a person. So we have a representative from what we call a local library setting, a building that's usually smaller than the regional, and Augsburg and Southdale would be an example of each one. Either one of you want to start first on different similarities?
Go ahead, Mrs. Pho.
Thank you. Like you say, learning, nurturing is very important, So at the library, we have a variety of, program, not only for teen, not only for senior, but for everybody of all ages. I was so blessed and am so blessed. I will be so happy, to work in Richfield at Augsburg Park Library because, our community is very, very diverse. One group coming and the next day we have other group, coming. So we try to figure out all kind of program, planning based on the community need, interest. For example, in Richfield, we have, senior, a lot of senior living in Richfield, resident. So we have, this coming fall, we have the new, book club. Or we will go to their home residence to do, book about, the World War I. They learn about it. And all the senior, and the senior will select and, read book and article, and they discuss together. If they couldn't come to our library, we come to the house. And not only this one, we have the wonderful program for the teen. Now we call Teen Night. We have a game, we have, book, we have an art, for them to learn about other, cultures and other things. And for the family, because as you know, Richfield very diverse.
Yes, very
So
diverse.
we try to think what kind of, program, to fit, people like it. And I know every year we have the Guide Festival, the Kid Flight Guide, and we partner with, Richfield Public Safety with school, and we do together. On way we have a literacy park involved in any activities.
So you're really engaging the community as you find it. And, again, Richfield is diverse, high Hispanic population.
Right.
So you're really reaching out both with books, Spanish books, and also English books that the kids can read and
Right.
share with their parents. Maybe even they read the English one while the mother follows in the Spanish, that
Yes,
kind of thing.
correct, and I think Mrs. Lisa may know more because long ago we do, Super Kinder. Super Kinder is the program every summer for Latino families. So from 4 into 4.5. So we want to plan them, all the program to be ready to school, to be success in school.
School.
Yes, and you know about this program. And when you went there,
I wasn't there for that.
them-
It was
oh,
after I left.
people
Oxford.
love it.
I've
and we
heard
just have
wonderful
10
things.
weeks, you know.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about Southdale and what would be similar, but maybe
Sure.
different also?
Sure. Well, we are located in a neighborhood, so we do have a lot of local folks who come. But we do, since we're so large, it is kind of a destination library for the south suburbs and actually anywhere in the county and outside the county. We get a lot of people who visit Southdale every day coming to use our bigger resources. So we have more of a collection, we have more computers, we have more staff. So they do end up coming from further away. And some of our programs are a bit larger, and we offer many more than a smaller library just because we have more space and more staff. Some of the things that we have had, we've had a lot of fun summer programming, and now summer's ending, and we're so sad because I had my last kids' book club last night, and it was so much fun because the kids actually got out into the library. They were a little noisy. I do kind of encourage a little noise because I myself am not a very quiet person. But it's a lot of interaction. We had a huge Harry Potter camp all summer, which we'll be doing again next year.
Tell the audience about Harry Potter Camp.
And I know we're supposed to talk about what's coming, but Harry Potter camp was a week full of Harry Potter awesomeness, Monday through Friday. It was 2 hours a day. Some of the requests are for 2 weeks of Harry Potter, but I don't think I can do that. I had to go get my hair redone after the grades. But it was really seeing what the kids are passionate for, and they are still passionate for Harry Potter. It may have come out 20 years ago, but the kids who are now going into, we had it for 5th through 8th graders, they're just discovering it, they love it, they want to do more with it, they want to express their passions and their knowledge. And so here, come for a week and we'll do trivia and we'll do art projects and we'll learn about the library while we're doing it. I'm so sneaky. And you know, they can put on costumes if they want to. The older high schoolers come and they're my prefects. So they come and help me because there's 50 children, so that's a lot of kids.
You had 50?
50, yes, middle schoolers. And it was really wonderful. So we do that in July every year. Of course, we've only done it for 2 years, but I'm starting to think about next July already. But so those are kind of the larger scale activities. For adults and families, we have those kinds of things too. Like for adults, we have Tuesdays with the Scholar. That starts up again this fall. It's not my program, but I just know they have professionals come in to talk about a specific topic, and it's always packed. So that will start again this fall. Of course, we have story time where we encourage caregivers to bring children and participate together. It's so much more fun if you do it alongside the child that you're taking care of. We have Lego Lab, which folks can come, and who doesn't like playing with Lego? So you can come play Legos for a couple hours.
I'm 70 and I still love it.
Yeah, so you can come. It doesn't have to just be the kids. You can come and build with them. We're going to have, at the very end of summer, everyone's talking about the big solar eclipse that's happening. We're going to have the Bell Museum bringing a very special telescope, and we're really hoping for a clear day so that we can look at the eclipse through that. We'll also, of course, on that day have the glasses, and they'll be talking about the eclipse and why this is so special. So we want people to come and bring the kids that are important to them, teenagers too. And then further on in the fall, we'll have an International Games Day. So it's a day, so no video games, but games that you can play together, whether it's trivia or it's chess or Candyland, whatever. So we'll have a large selection to choose from to come and play together. So everyone is engaging not only with the library but with each other. So it's just a nice time to get away from the screen, if possible. But if you don't want to, we have computers. We have over 100 computers. Come use our computers for free.
And as you talked about all these different activities, the thought just hit me. We talk about it takes a village to raise a child. And what a better example than the libraries being that center where the kids can come and find community and adults caring adults and encounter. I mean, not all kids are blessed with extended family around, and this kind of is a way to have other adults interacting in their lives. And I can't think that having a Harry Potter campus.
Well, Well, I was just talking with a mom yesterday who dropped her daughter off for book club and saying how, they enjoyed hanging out with me and talking about books. And I was telling her this is their third space. This is not their school. It's not their home. It's another safe place they can come and they can they can tell me anything.
I was just going to say, I can imagine again, that sometimes children aren't comfortable saying everything to their parents. Their parents tend to overreact. But that would be a safe place to interact and, say things that they might not feel quite as comfortable. What a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I were a kid again.
You can come tell us anything too.
Can I come to Harry Potter?
Yeah, you can, yeah. I adding to Lisa, I will tell you, just yesterday, I'm moved, I was moved. Usually the people coming and they know, Mommy, or something, is the librarian. But yesterday the kid coming say, Mommy is your friends. Now, me become Mommy's friend because she feel very comfortable and took me so happy. And at the end she give me lovely letters. Yeah. Mommy is your friends. You can see it. We not only like parents. We are parents, but the friends with your kids. So very close bonding. And learn from each other. So I love it.
Yeah, and that's so. And I know you work primarily with youth, but there's a lot of things for adults. I mean, everything from genealogy to the solar eclipse.
I have a list.
Okay, go over the list.
So on my list, what do we have?
I have a list too, so after her, okay?
Okay, you will go
I
after
don't
her.
have dates for all of these, but it is all on our website. So of course there's stuff for families. But we have a Fix-It clinic coming up. I guess you can bring stuff in and get it fixed or learn how to fix it. I don't know that. I just wrote them down. Yes, genealogy workshops. We have those regularly. We have patent workshops. We have one of our librarians is an expert on patents. And he he has a patent workshop. So come check that out too. Small business and legal consultation for small businesses, that happens at Southdale Library. There's a book discussion that happens monthly. And I talked about Tuesdays with the Scholar just briefly. And then this is for teens. We're having a PSAT practice in September.
Oh, so that the teenagers can start.
Yeah, so it's close to what the testing situation will be like when they take the PSAT a little bit later. So they can come and we'll get them on a computer and they'll have a block of time and it will be a practice test that they're taking. I'm working with Edina High School to get that going. So we do have a lot of people we work with all the time.
And as I show books in the library, I mean, there's plenty of books, practice books, I guess is the best for the ACT and the SAT. But I'm thinking, so a kid could sit at home and start turning the pages, but what is so much better is be able to actually come and do a practice in a setting that's they're not going to be interrupted or distracted by the Facebook or something.
Exactly, or the chores or whatever.
Or chores,
But they can access that from home. So if they can't make it on that day, they can always come to us and ask us how they can get onto that database. It is a subscription database that they can get on and take practice tests. And not only for college readiness, there's a lot for other exams as well as an adult. So if you're going into a specific line of work that requires testing, there are practice tests available for free.
Electrician or trades?
Lots and lots, and nursing, and you name it, it's on there.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. See, it's totally amazing and it's never ending.
So I would like to just say one thing, and the passion that these two ladies bring to their work, you can see it's pretty evident. We've started over the last couple of years in the building project type group, seeking out this information that these guys share and that they do daily so that we can understand how they use their library, how the community uses their library. And because they're connected to the community, they can bring a different form of community engagement, if you will, to our projects by letting us know what they're hearing from members of the community. So I wish I was taking notes.
I'll come see you anytime.
Okay, we'll be meeting.
And that's so important because I've seen what happens when construction architects, that whole group, does not go back to the people that are actually going to be using it to see what is necessary in the design,
And
a
that's really,
final product.
And that's really what we do. So we have a very knowledgeable, experienced staff with the county downtown, a group called in Facility Services that are architects and engineers. But it's our job at the library to bring forth what the library needs. So the library vision, make sense for the users of the library. And sometimes we do get into a bit of a pushing, shoving match, but you know, most of the time at the end of the day we prevail and we get a building that represents the community.
And of course, both of you probably are aware of this. There can be a little bit of generational conflict.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, there's the older, maybe single man that's not used to kids, and the last thing he wants, I mean, he's sitting there very quietly,
Right.
deep in a book or online even. All of a sudden, there's a bunch of middle
Right.
school or fourth graders that are, you know, not being quite so quiet, and so there is that. Kind of
And we hear that more and more as we are, as a complaint actually, as we are progressing through this new style, because we want the libraries to be fun and loud and engage children and engage young families and teens and everybody actually, but we don't want to displace people who need quiet. Fortunately, now there's a lot of products available for baffling and containing sound. You know, so that we don't necessarily need to dampen or damper the sound in a children's area, but we could maybe beef up what's in a study room or a meeting room, so they can find solace in there and not have to listen to all that crazy making. It's
it's her making the noise.
it's Lisa.
Well, we won't point fingers.
But we do like to represent everybody. So, you know, we do realize that there's a need for quiet space too. A lot of people do come to the library for quiet. So,
Yeah. Yeah, she remind me of, you know, Osborne Park. We have the family play and learn.
yes.
If you come on Monday and Tuesday or, you know, like a Wednesday, sometimes you feel like you go to the mall. The laughter, you know,
Yeah.
the noise, you know, the running, anybody run around, we say, no, quiet, no, don't run, you know. But it's just wonderful. You know, now it's totally different from, you know, long ago, you know, quiet. Not quiet anymore. We know people have fun, you know, learning.
Right.
Yeah, no, shh, no more. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, and you know, another thing, to be fair, I mean, the kids are in school, you know, during the what is it, 6 months out of the year at least, almost 9 months of the year. And those that want peace and quiet, you know, especially the older ones who probably are retired, you know, they've got the daytime that they can
Yeah.
come and it'll be quieter than after 4 or after 3. But,
Yeah.
but it is, I see that a little bit difference. To me, Augsburg is more family, whereas at Southdale, and I'm sure the other regional libraries are like that, and certainly downtown, you can find little niches tucked in the corner and
that's one of the benefits of having such a large library, is that there are places to get away. So the second floor of Southdale, third floor of Southdale is typically quieter, and there is that there's that room that's glassed off that they just recently renovated. That is the quiet room where there's no talking at all. So that you can always find a space at Southdale to escape. And if you're looking for something a little bit more lively, you can come to the second floor and enjoy all the laughter and play with the kids in your lives, or come talk to us about Reader's Advisory or whatever it is.
sometimes I want to say to some of those older people is, you know, studies have shown a little interaction with children and watching children do make you younger and make you live longer. So it's beneficial for the older people to
And
be
we're
around.
also grooming the next generation of library users. So we do want them to feel comfortable and feel like it's their space as well.
Well, and in planning, I was on the planning commission in Richfield, and I used to have to remind my co-members that we are not planning the city of today or the city of yesterday. We are planning the city of tomorrow for grandkids, you know, and as you do library, I'm sure for you, that's something that
Right.
you have to consider.
Absolutely, because we won't be back for many, many, many years. I mean, we can tweak a building, but it's not the same as actually trying to get it right the first time. I think our newest library in Brooklyn Park was just a great collaborative effort between the community and local political leaders and the library staff and patrons as to what they wanted, and they definitely wanted a library that reached out to young families.
Yeah.
And so that is in learning and about learning. And so that is the center of the library, is that the play and learn area. And then there's STEM learning throughout the building. It starts outside the door and it continues through the building. It's subtle, but it's there. And then certainly there's areas for all of the other things too. There's meeting rooms, there's quiet areas, there's a large teen area, and it's flexible, hopefully, to give them the space that they need. So that's kind of hopeful success that we're looking for on all of them, and Southdale will certainly be one of them. So,
Well, and you know, all the computers you laugh about, or we laugh about the number of computers at Southdale, and I know you've got them at Augsburg
Yeah.
too, but a lot of people don't understand that for many families, that's incredibly important because they either don't have the funding to buy a personal computer, or they don't have the knowledge to be able to keep and maintain a computer. So to bring the kids to the library is so important. And so that's another thing as
Yeah,
you build libraries or remodel libraries, you've got to take that into account.
yep, and we do. And I think another benefit of the library, or coming even to use a computer at the library, is the the fiber optic that's in most of the building, or is running to most of the building. So it gives you speed that you might not have at home if you even have access at home. I know that the library is the biggest content user of any of the county departments. A lot of streaming and just a lot of downloading and things going on, which is what you would expect, right? So it's a very important feature of our libraries. Even ones that don't have the need for as many computers definitely have same high need for technology.
And now that a lot of the schools are doing that one-to-one, so each child gets some kind of a device to do their work on, not everybody has Wi-Fi. But
Right.
we do. So they can come use our Wi-Fi for free. And it's becoming more and more important to have that access to do, it's like if they have an upside down classroom, so during the day they do their work, but at home they watch the lesson, which I think is a fabulous idea. But if you don't have Wi-Fi,
Yep.
then you come in and you can use ours for free.
Yeah, I know. I volunteer at the Richfield Middle School in math class, and that was something they had to. They got all the technology. They gave the kids their pads to use, and then somebody said, and they had a lot of kids have smartphones, and somebody said, "Oh, wait a minute. The homes don't have, or the apartments don't have Wi-Fi." So I know they're trying to work with the apartment managers to say, look, this is really needed to
Yeah.
have Wi-Fi through the building, but you're right.
And along with people bringing their own devices to the library, which has become very popular, we've been asked then to increase the access to electrical outlets. So didn't see that coming, say, 10 years ago, where you need to put power into everything,
Oh,
into every
yes.
table, into every chair, near every chair, what have you. But it's heavily used, and if you don't, they find it and they try to snake some kind of cord across the floor, and then a librarian or some staff person will catch them and
It never occurred to me.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yeah.
need the power too.
You do.
Right.
And at Southdale, it's hard to find. So but that renovated quiet room does have a lot of outlets. They have some furniture because Southdale's not super flexible
Yeah.
because it's concrete.
Yep. Yep.
So
Solid.
what we have is what we get, except on the third floor, that quiet room has lots of plugs.
And Augsburg Park, we have the charger too, so people can charge, the,
Charge
things.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is wonderful. And like I just say, we're happy, we have so many volunteers in our library. We have a computer, helper.
Oh,
Monday,
good.
Tuesday, and other days. And
Yeah.
people need help, and they really love it.
Yeah.
And if you go, like a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday during school year, we have a homework help.
Yes.
This is wonderful, and the kids come every day from 3 until 7:30, and we have also conversation circle for people to practicing English and speaking skill. So we always have, but the one thing I'm very proud of, I should tell you. You know what is it? The next chapter book club. Do you know what it's about?
No.
Yes, it's community-based in a book club for adult and adolescent with, like a disability.
Oh.
So we partner with, like a different organizations. But this year we partner with, Fraser, Living Independent. You know what this one?
Sure.
Yes, and we have, 4 to 7, participants. And they come to the library every other Mondays, and we read book out loud. And now the things about we don't do in the small room. We be in like in the library.
So
people
everybody.
love it. Yep.
Yes.
See, and they read, they enjoyed it. I remember, some days, on way Monday, right? And we have a holidays. And they say, no, I say, we close, the library closed. But say, no, I still want it. So they come on next day, Tuesday. They don't want to miss anything. And I love it. They're so nice and they love book. And it's the way for them to meet, people and friends and learning, the
all
library
the same.
system. Yep.
And feel more a part of the community. Maybe we should, do you want to explain to the audience who Fraser is?
Yes. Fraser is, I know they have in Bloomington, Edina, and Richfield. And they like independent living. So the resident come there.
Developmentally
Yes, yep. Like they have a Down syndrome, or kind of, mentally, like a disability, and they stay there, but they have different program.
Yeah.
But the library thing about last year is the project, the pilot project, but now anybody love it. So we will be back again in September. Yeah.
Library is for all people.
Yes.
Another thing, let's see, I may have to turn this over and make sure we're covering everything that I wanted to cover. We've talked about new programming, and I know you aren't specifically doing it, and you talked a little bit about going to people's homes, but I know Southdale has that too, and you can maybe talk to it. But where you're actually taking the books in a bookmobile. I mean, kind of brought back the bookmobile that used to be in rural areas. Now it's back at Hennepin County, correct?
Not the bookmobile like it used to be, but we do have some deposit collections, so maybe that's what you're thinking
maybe
of.
that's what it's
So we do have a department called Outreach, and I'm sure, hopefully you'll have Susan back on your
we'll
show.
do it, but
But like, for an example, 66 West that just opened up, the youth residence right on 66 in Edina, so it just opened. So I have a connection with the staff there, and I have brought over lots of books to, so the residents will have something to read on site. And we're starting a kind of a collaboration where, so I will be there occasionally to maintain the collection and maybe meet with residents and talk to them a bit about library services. So we have things like that.
Okay, that's
a
really
presence at different places, but it's, the bookmobile right now anyway is not
there. Okay, maybe that's what I meant. I knew the books were going
yes
to
to
senior buildings and
Right.
the people that
Right.
can't get out. So it's more like what you were talking about.
Right. And our library, for don't we have, all the librarians to go to the, residents, senior residents,
Okay.
Yep.
So who's doing the driveway? Are these volunteers?
No, so we do that behind the scenes.
You're doing it.
My group does. The operations
Oh.
group supports that service for Susan and her staff. They make, I want to say, it's 90 different deliveries every Wednesday. I think it's every Tuesday or it's every Wednesday. And they bring books that have been selected or requested to the various senior places and homes and wherever they've been told to deliver the books to. It's a pretty amazing program. They also bring them, I think, to the different like correctional facilities within Hennepin County too. Yeah.
Well, we're going to maybe do a program on that,
Yeah,
but at least
you
wanted
should.
the
It's a
public
great
to
program,
know that,
yep.
that is an option.
Yeah.
There is also the at-home service, so that's something else
Yeah,
that,
that's true. Yep.
that you should know about. Is
Yes.
if you can't make it to the library for some reason, you can always contact our at-home service, and they'll make sure that you can get library materials, because we don't want anyone to go without.
Oh, okay, maybe that's
So
what
even if
I
it's
was
just for
thinking.
winter, you don't like to go outside in winter, you have slippery stairs, whatever it is. So just know that you can always contact us, and we'll help you.
And somehow or another, what you want will get there.
Yes.
Okay. Another thing is we still got shelves and shelves and shelves of books.
Of course.
And, when the Kindles and the readers and electronic readers, and we probably all have on our smartphone a place where we can download books to and everything. Myself, I still like to touch the book and turn the pages. Do you know, I mean, obviously you don't have all the statistics, but are more and more people going to an electronic book version, or did that reach a plateau and it's kind of holding steady? I'm just curious.
In my professional experience, I think that people do both. I know
agree.
that younger people, it's surprising, but they tend to prefer the paper book. But if people are going on vacation, so I have two teenage daughters, one who likes the book, and one who likes the ebook. So it really is preference. There are a lot of new users who come in all the time who do want help getting started on how to download library books for free onto their device, and we can totally do that. But it really is personal preference, and it depends on your situation as well. But I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. You know, I have teenagers too. And it's the same thing. Some of them love book, better to read. But some of them say no. I want ebooks. And luckily the library we have a different format. We have an audio book, have the book, and we have the ebook. So variety of things, choice for them. So
You really can't complain because there's a way to get a book to you no matter what. And I know a lot of people. The audio book system, either first book on tape and then book on CDs, are so wonderful. I can tell you, having to drive to the university from Richville every day and the mess that's 35W, I just got to work much happier with a book on CD playing. I like to say my brain in the car interconnected without me consciously knowing how I got to work. But
That's always interesting.
a lot of people don't realize that listening to a book is entertainment in itself. The reader is so good at adding suspense or excitement or something, and it really becomes, you provide the visual in your brain.
Yep.
So it's kind of like watching a movie or a TV program.
Sure.
And although not my department, I have seen the statistics about ebooks versus or electronic versus print collection. And initially, I don't know how many years ago, the downloads was really taking off, but it's kind of leveled off. And there's a demand again for printed material. And our folks that purchase the books certainly are seeing it. So there doesn't seem to be a shortage or a lack of desire for books.
Yeah, I think, when you think about the futuristic planning, and I remember at Disney World, there's in the Epcot bulb or globe, they had a futuristic thing, and everybody's reading books on their little device. And I'm not so sure that day will ever come. Maybe it will, but so far the print book is holding its own, right?
So far.
And at Osprey Park on September, I think 16, in the morning we have a program for teen. It's the author Tammy Wilson, Through the Eyes. She come to talk about, the Somali girl experience, living in America. It's this wonderful book. And the kid will read and, discuss with the authors. But in the afternoon, we have the adult reading books, discuss together, and watching movies.
Oh,
yes, September 16. Yeah.
I just saw that on your website.
Yes,
and that's
thank you.
another thing I thought, well, how wonderful. Read the book, watch the movie.
And we do that for teens every summer too at the library. And it's really fun.
And so many people say, oh, don't go to the movie until you read the book, it'll ruin the book. But I've found if the movie does a good job, it doesn't. And you can watch the movie and then read the book. You can go both ways on it if it's a good quality movie.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Wonderful. So many programs.
I know.
Yeah, there really is. And I want to just encourage people all they have to do is type in Hennepin Library and it'll come up on our website as well.
Or they could call us.
Yeah.
Or they can come visit.
They can come
That's another
visit.
thing that we haven't talked about is our amazing staff.
Yes, go ahead.
So we just have amazing, warm, welcoming staff at the library who really are there to help people who come in find the information they want, get them engaged, give them suggestions. So if you're looking for something good to read and you're not sure where to start, we can always give you a boost. If you are stuck on homework, we can get you hooked up with online tutors if you can't make it to Augsburg Park. There's just so many things. You can even instant message us if you have internet at home and ask us questions, and we'll help you remotely. So you don't have to actually set foot in the library to get help from staff.
Or whatever you want.
But yeah, and I always tell kids this, but I should tell adults as well. Our job is to help people. We often, people will come up and say, I'm sorry to bother you.
Yes.
Like, you are never, ever, ever bothering us. This is why we're here. We're here to help you. We might have like a side project we're working on, but we would much rather help the people who either call or message or come in person than whatever side project is that we have going on. So I hope that folks at home know that they can always come and ask us. That's what we do every day. That's our job.
Well, and I have to say, personal experience, there is no dumb question. There really isn't for the library. I mean, there is no dumb question.
No, that's very true.
No, what if? And I have to say that. I can attest, and I'm sure you could speak for the rest of the library system, but Augsburg and Southdale, I have never met a grumpy staff person.
Thank you.
Well, that's so good to hear. I'm so
Yes.
glad.
Yes. And you can talk about our DVD collections. It's wonderful.
Oh, yes, DVDs.
Yes.
That's another.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, well, we have movies like crazy. So, pretty much anything you can imagine, we own it. Now, keeping in mind that the newest releases are going to have a waiting list.
Yes, about 300.
Yeah, but
There's something more than
you don't have to pay for it. So it's a free movie rental, or you can just come and browse. You never know what might show up on the shelves. It's pretty amazing. And we also have music downloads.
Yes.
So folks who have a library card can download 5 songs a week to keep.
Oh, really?
Yep. So you can go on to our database called Freegal, as in free and legal. So it's called Freegal, and you can download music. So if you have multiple library cards in your home, you can download that times 5. So I have a daughter who takes all of our library cards and downloads all those songs every week. But yeah, it's just another free resource, and not very many people know about it, but it's really helpful,
Yeah.
especially if you're tired of paying for music. Then you can do that.
Well, and again, money is an issue.
It is an issue.
It's not everybody has as much as some of us who are luckier. So.
And the work languages DVD is wonderful. We have a movie from India, from Korea, from China, from many countries. So people can come and check it out, and they love it. So
Yeah.
please come to the library and check it out.
Well, and you have foreign language.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
not sure how much you have in yours, but I know how much you because
Yeah.
I shelve them.
Yes. At Augsburg Park, we have so many languages: Spanish, Vietnamese, and other languages too. Because we put together now with the DVD. So we focus on the populations in each library. So.
And we have Chinese. Right now, we are hosting Edina's French collection just for another week or
That's
two.
what I love.
Vietnamese, Somali, Spanish, Russian.
I think that's it.
That's it.
Yes.
Chinese,
Jessica,
Somali, Spanish, and Vietnamese.
Yep. So we have
French is on the floor.
just for another little bit. Then it's going back
Back
to
to-
Edina. But yeah, and we do have also many world movies, and we have so many, and all the libraries carry all the different kinds. So it's.
So let's talk a little bit more about capital projects.
Sure.
And I know Edina is just opening up. Do you want to talk a little bit about the process, pretty much from getting
Sure.
the end for the Edina? Because it probably is similar. You know.
So our process for looking at a building renovation like Edina or any of our other libraries is it begins with kind of a meeting of the minds where we get our group that manage the facilities together with the people who are representing the library. And we start to talk about what the building needs in terms of the skeletal issue, its electricity, its lighting, its heating and air conditioning and all of that. And then they kind of build a budget around that. At the same time, we're going out and interacting with staff within the buildings, asking them about what's working in the building, what isn't working in the building, What should we change? What shouldn't we change? What are patrons liking and not liking? So it's kind of a fun opportunity to just really get staff talking about what they hear every day, whether you're shelving books or you're helping people with information questions. And then we take all of that back to the drawing table, if you will, and we start to work with the designer to relay out the space. And we work with the collection folks so that we know how many books we're putting back into the space. So how much shelving do we need and that kind of thing. And it's just really helpful to talk to all those different entities to know how work flows. You know, if you can lay the building out so that it works for how you work, it's much better than trying to adapt your work to a building. And again, we hear open spaces, flexibility, sound baffling, larger children's areas, enhanced teen areas, lots of power and things like that. So the new Edina Library, or the Edina renovation, they all knew when they reopened, is opening on the 26th of August. And it will be, refreshed, updated, new carpet, new furniture, a new layout, new shelving, same collection, and additional books have been added to it. New books have been added to it. A few more meeting rooms, and hopefully, it has the same wonderful ambiance that it had before, and that's not lost in the renovation. We heard a lot of that from patrons, that they really enjoyed the amount of wood that was in the building and kind of the feel and the look of the building as it was before it was renovated.
Yeah, and people say, well, why don't they last forever? And really, there's nothing physical that does. I mean,
No.
some of it's got to be driven by things like plumbing and electrical and the computer lines and whatnot.
Well, and absolutely, and that's a really, really busy area. So there's the Edina Senior Center. We actually share the site with them. So on the first floor of that building is the Edina Senior Center. We're above the Senior Center. Both spaces very, very busy. They really needed to redo the parking lot. They needed to just tear it up and redo it, and they could never find a time when they had enough time to do that. So during the closure, they were able to actually do that for the library, and I'm not sure when they're sneaking in the parking lot work, which it isn't all that exciting to talk about. But if you're driving on potholes, it's a bigger deal, right?
Yeah.
But that's a really unique one in that there's such high traffic. So you have people who are coming in through the library on that level, but they're actually going down to the senior center, which is great because then they'll stop into the library. So it's really more, the libraries wear out from traffic, from the number of people that are in them, and that's a beautiful thing. So
yeah, I mean, you want more people.
Exactly. Right. We don't want them to last forever because that means no one's using them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say, well, my taxes are high enough.
Yes,
Why are they doing this? Yes. And it was good enough when I was there. And we talk so much about the new technology and programming. Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, that becomes a factor in the physical.
It does. It really does.
Building. And even like mold.
We don't have those issues.
Oh.
If we did, we can talk about them.
And, I know, at least in the Richfield, Bloomington, and Edina area, everybody's talking about Southdale. Mm-hmm. And the library is feeling kind of lonesome there right now. Do you want to say anything about what's left, Southdale Library?
Well, I mean, it's a large site. We can start with the site. It's 7.7 acres of land. So that's a lot of land. It kind of goes back to the mid-'70s when it was built, and everybody drove everywhere. So I think there's a large parking lot. It probably holds over almost 500 cars. But the library is part of a regional center, so there was also the service center and the courts there. The service center moved out a year or so ago to Southdale Mall, and the courts are going to be moving, I believe, relocating down here to Bloomington.
Yeah, this building.
Yep, and that kind of, those changes help the library, the decision making on the library as to what should be done with the library. And we, a large group of people actually decided that, we probably don't need all of that land. Right. So we're currently in very, very, very preliminary stages on asking the community what they would like there. And the city of Edina held 3 community events that was moderated by an architectural firm that was just hired to do that. And to just kind of hear what the community wanted, because I know there's a lot of mixed use going on in Edina. There's a lot of residential buildings being built. They're really changing the face of Edina, I think, especially around that Southdale area. So we're trying to find our place in that and describe or decide what that actually means for us. So, I mean, the library itself, the square footage. We're not intending to reduce it. We're not intending to reduce collection. We're not intending to reduce, any of the current services that are there. We just want to make the building be the right fit for the community, of course, but also for the services that are provided, and then make it fit right on the land. So really don't have much information other than all of that on the site. We don't need a parking lot with 500 cars.
No,
So
I
we'll
mean,
try to right-size that.
if anybody who's been there lately, it's
Yeah.
I can remember some Saturdays that lot would be so full
Yes.
because of the service center.
Absolutely.
And of course, that's gone now. And I believe mold was a big driving factor
For them.
for the service in court, especially service, I believe.
I don't have all of the history on those
Yeah, I
buildings,
think
but
that's-
it could be one of the reasons that they moved that one a little bit faster
Yeah.
than anybody else.
Well, and like anybody, anything that happens, I mean, I don't know if you guys have been to the Southdale Service Center, but it's beautiful.
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's nice,
very
right?
beautiful.
You don't think it needs to be renovated until you see it
See the
renovated.
new-
And then you go, well, this is really nice.
Yeah, that's been a discussion with 66th Street too.
Yeah, right,
Wait till
right.
it's done.
Yes.
Let's see. Is there anything we haven't covered, or do you want to talk any more about any other libraries? That maybe some of our viewing.
Well, we just recently closed the Ridgedale Library, which is
That's it. Talk a little bit about Ridgedale,
So-
because that was built after Southdale. I mean, I wonder
Yes,
if
it
that's
was.
clear.
Yes, it was. Thank you very much. There's no
but that
audience.
is
It's
under
right
rental.
here. No, just kidding. Ridgedale, yes, it was built afterwards. It was built in '81. I think Southdale was built in '76. Was it? I
Yeah,
think
no,
something
I
in the
was. You
mid-70s.
don't need to
So
get
yes,
into
you are
the
correct.
politics
You are
of
correct.
Ridgeville versus Southdale. But it is being renovated.
Yes, it's being renovated, and they're similar in size. The overall building of the service center and also the libraries, they're pretty comparable. And interestingly, the library is the only occupant that chose to close. So the service center is remaining open, and the
Oh.
courts are remaining open. And it's my understanding, I wasn't here for the last remodel in 91, or 99, I'm sorry. They said they'd never do that again. But people forget, time goes on. There's a lot of infrastructure in that building that needs to be replaced.
That's what I
Most of it is original to the building, which is really hard to imagine. So the heating and the air conditioning and all of that is 30 plus years old. There's a lot of upgrades that need to happen just to make it more energy efficient and to make it more comfortable for people. And it's approximately going to be, I think, a year-long renovation. But they're touching everything. So they'll be tearing up the parking lot. We will be meeting all of the requirements of the city of Minnetonka, which includes stormwater management and things along those lines, which aren't very exciting to talk about, but they cost money and they have to be done. But during the closure, we are actually trying something brand new, where we have taken one space and adapted it to the reserves, the holds. So patrons can still come in and use their library card to access this room during specific hours. I think it's 7 a.m. to maybe 7 p.m. It's on the website. But you can come in and pick up your holds, and you can go, so that you don't have to go to another library and do that, or just wonder what you're going to do in the interim. And it's really, we're kind of excited about the potential here for what that could mean.
Yeah, that's fantastic, because you really can do all your browsing on the web.
Yep.
Just come up with a category and browse through history if you want to, or something like that.
Right.
And then pick your book, and then you're still going to the same place to pick it up.
Right. And so, it's an opportunity for us to increase hours without adding staff. It's a trial right now. We'll see how it goes. If it goes well, we may look at how we can adapt other libraries to the same model. We also, the book return is currently open, although that is causing us some angst right now,
Yeah.
and it will become a little bit more anxious as they start to tear up the parking lot. But it is, again, still there for people if they wanted to return books.
And that's a whole nother thing too, that the whole process of returning a book, the technology for that is just almost night and day to like when Well, I was a kid for sure. But that's, as you look at your planning and projects and remodeling and building and whatever, that's a whole feature
It is.
that's so not seen by the public, but obviously it's so important.
I remember my first day at the library, went into the back area where they handle all of the books, and they purchase all of the books, and I was like, what is this? I was like, well, this is where your books get to the shelf, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's huge. It's a huge operation, and yeah, it's seamless, right? As a patron, it's seamless.
Well,
It should be
you
seamless
guys
anyway.
need to do tours like at Southdale. Of, what happens to the book? when
Yeah,
it comes.
right, right.
Yeah, because when they allow the volunteers, when they're training the volunteers, they take them down to the first floor, where the books come in, and that's a fascinating area. I mean,
Yeah.
you could, for $1, charge people on the tour, raise a little money.
Everything at the library is free.
Yeah.
I got everything at the library. But that is and I'm sure the technology is always changing and improving efficiency on that. So, any last words? And then we're at 3 minutes left. So, any last words any of you want to say that maybe we have?
Maybe since you're volunteers, I would like to thank all the library volunteers.
Oh yeah.
We have
yeah.
amazing
Yes,
volunteers.
amazing.
From our
Absolutely.
teenagers all the way up to our seniors, they keep us afloat most
Yeah.
days. That's not true. They're wonderful, and like especially the teenagers. They're so much fun to work with. They help me. They help all of us.
Yeah, they're great.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Couldn't do it without them.
Do you want to just say that on the website's probably easiest, but you can actually just go and stop at the front desk and say, I'd like to volunteer?
Yeah, we have applications online, so it depends on what area you want to volunteer. Even teen, you can volunteer too, but you need to have the parent sign the paper.
For the paperwork.
So we let them know what kind of information, application they need to fill out.
Yeah.
And of course, we would like to thank, and our library customers, right?
That's why we're here.
That we're here, for all of you.
So I hope this encourages people to come and visit us, and know that if they're hesitant or shy or whatever,
Yeah.
talk to us.
And I just want to emphasize too, because I know you agree, there just are no dumb questions.
Nope.
And they will welcome you with open arms if you say, I am new to this library, I need help. I mean, people would just take you under their wings. And
Right.
Well, and another thing to address is also the library's privacy policies. We keep everything very, very private.
Yeah.
So if you were to give us your address to apply for a library card, we're going to keep that really to ourselves. Nothing ever gets shared. So don't be hesitant to come in and at least apply for one.
you'll never get junk mail because you signed up for a library card. Okay, well, the hour has gone fast and it's been fun and so enjoyable. And I know you guys are busy and have plenty of other things to do. So I just really, really, really want to thank you for being here. And I hope what you've shared encourages people to use and try some of the new services and new programming.
I hope so.
because
I hope so,
They're
too.
So
wonderful.
yeah.
So again, who did I didn't say that.
Yeah, Fertram.
Tron. And the librarian from Augsburg, and Lisa House, who specializes in youth programming at Southdale, and then Ann Woodson Hicks, who's the senior administrative manager, but really helps make sure the building runs when
Right,
it's
right. And that
remodeled
secret
or
person behind
rebuilt.
the scenes, yes. That's
So
no secret
thanks.
anymore.
So thanks so much for being here. Really
Thank you.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
Thank you for
having
having us. Yeah.
And to my listening audience, I thank you for watching Inside the Issues, again sponsored by the League of Women Voters. Good night.